Welcome to the Explainer. So, what exactly happens when you mix clinical dermatology with a totally ruthless TikTok algorithm? Well, I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are looking at that exact fascinating intersection of science, beauty, and just brilliant digital marketing. We're going to completely deconstruct a brand called ToxiTress. Now, this isn't just your standard hair care line. It's actually a highly structured, multi-stage scalp wellness system specifically designed for protective styles. Braids, wigs, sew-ins, the whole shebang. But what makes this specific case study so incredibly compelling is how they've paired this clinical, step-by-step product architecture with one of the absolute best direct response marketing playbooks on social media today. We're going to break down exactly how these products work on a scientific level, and then we're going to pull back the curtain to reveal exactly how they sell them so effectively.
Okay, let's dive into this. This right here is an actual hook from their viral TikTok strategy. Nobody told me my scalp needed this before braids. It is such a highly relatable confession, right? It immediately stops the scroll because it creates this massive knowledge gap. If you wear braids or wigs, you instantly think, wait, what does my scalp need? What am I completely missing out on? It's a genius move because it positions the creator not as some pushy salesperson, but just as a friend sharing a really vital discovery about a pre-install routine.
So here is our roadmap for the Explainer today. First, we'll look at the protective style problem. Then, we'll go through Stage 1, the mineral cleanse, Stage 2, scalp pH reset, and Stage 3, targeted restoration. Finally, we'll wrap up with their viral UGC strategy.
Section 1. The protective style problem.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core issue before we even get to the solution. We really have to talk about the foundation first. I want you to think about that invisible environment beneath popular heavy hairstyles like wigs, locks, and long-term sew-ins. It's an area that's tucked away, often under a lot of tension, and completely shielded from your normal daily care for weeks, sometimes months at a time. And this core realization is exactly what ToxiTress has capitalized on. Basic shampooing is completely different from a true scalp detox. Usually, when people prep for a protective style, they just wash their hair. But its standard shampoo is formulated for the hair strand itself, not for deep cleaning the pores of the scalp. That fundamental misunderstanding, that's exactly what leads to that dreaded, intense post-braid itch and heavy buildup that literally forces people to take their expensive hairstyles out way too early.
Because when the scalp is tucked away like that, it is subjected to invisible threats that actually suffocate the follicles. We are talking about weeks of trapped sweat accumulation, an overproduction of excess natural oils trying to compensate for tension, heavy layers of old edge control, styling product buildup, and just general environmental residue. All of this creates a toxic barrier right on the skin. Imagine wearing a really heavy winter beanie to the gym every single day, sweating in it, and literally never taking it off. I know, gross, right? But that is exactly what your scalp is experiencing. It sets up the absolute necessity for a specialized intervention before you even think about installing new hair.
Enter what they call the ritual. ToxiTress designed this very specific sequential three-step scientific solution that you're supposed to use right before heading to the salon. It's designed to completely reset that foundation. It isn't just a bunch of arbitrary products thrown together. It is a meticulously formulated progression. Cleanse, prep, and restore.
Which brings us to Section 2, Stage 1, the mineral cleanse.
This is the first, and honestly, the most crucial step of the entire system. It's the absolute bedrock of the ToxiTress philosophy. Because if this non-negotiable stage gets skipped, everything else you apply is just going to sit right on top of old buildup and totally fail to penetrate. They achieve this cleanse with a product they call the extract mask. The science here is all about physical extraction rather than harsh chemical stripping. The formula relies on some heavy-hitting minerals: bentonite clay, kaolin clay, activated charcoal, and sodium bicarbonate. These ingredients are incredibly porous, so when you apply them to the scalp, they act like tiny little micromagnets. They physically bind to and draw out that hidden sweat, those stubbornly trapped oils, and microscopic residues lodged deep within the pores.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that Stage 1 isn't just about feeling clean. It is about actively removing a physical barrier. It lifts everything away so that the scalp is no longer suffocating. You are left with this completely clear, purified foundation that is finally ready to breathe underneath a fresh, tight install. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 3. Stage 2, Scalp pH Reset.
So once you've deeply detoxed and stripped away all those impurities, your scalp is incredibly clean, right? But it's also a bit vulnerable now. Its natural balance has been totally disrupted. ToxiTress addresses this with a concept they call a scalp pH reset.
utilizing their Restore Mist. If we translate this from fancy luxury beauty marketing into pure, simple scalp science, after you use a heavy mineral clay mask, the skin's acid mantle needs to be stabilized. This botanical infusion actively rebalances the scalp's microscopic environment, drastically reducing that raw sensitivity you might feel immediately after such a deep cleanse.
The brand perfectly positions this mist as the bridge between a clean scalp and a conditioned one. Because it's so lightweight and fast-absorbing, it instantly calms down an angry, tender scalp. It acts as the perfect liquid primer, prepping those newly cleared pores to actually absorb the final, heavy-duty conditioning layer coming up next.
Section 4. Stage 3. Targeted Restoration.
Now that the entire scalp is purified and pH balanced, the focus suddenly shifts. We move from treating the whole head to hyper-focusing on specific, high-risk, high-tension zones. This final pre-install stage utilizes the Purify Oil Elixir for deep, all-over nourishment. But honestly, the real standout here is the Temple Therapy Roll-On. This thing is designed for precision recovery. When you get tight braids or heavy wigs, your edges and your hairline take the absolute brunt of the mechanical stress. It gets incredibly uncomfortable. This roll-on delivers targeted rescue serums directly to those delicate areas that suffer so much from repeated tension.
Ultimately, Stage 3 is designed to treat what the first two stages just cleared and prepped. It locks in long-term scalp wellness, heavily conditioning the skin and hair follicles right before the hair gets tucked away for the next 6 to 8 weeks. It forms a complete, scientifically logical loop.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Section 5, the viral UGC strategy. Because having a great scientific product is really only half the battle. The other half, getting people to actually buy it. And ToxiTress has absolutely mastered the user-generated content, or UGC, playbook to sell this highly specific system across TikTok and Instagram Reels. Their entire digital strategy is built on this rigid, highly optimized 30-second video formula engineered for maximum viewer retention. Watch how tightly this flows. Seconds 0 to 3, a massive hook. Seconds 4 to 10, agitate a really relatable problem. Seconds 11 to 18, introduce a personal story of struggle. Seconds 19 to 25 offer a visually satisfying textural product demo of those clays and oils. And finally, seconds 26 to 30 reveal clear scalp results and hit them with a strong call to action. It perfectly guides the viewer from their own frustration straight to the ToxiTress solution.
But they don't just use one single voice. No, they deploy an entire matrix of distinct personas to hit every single corner of their demographic. They'll hit you with the busy mom doing a storytime format. She'll be like, guys, I almost took my braids out because my scalp was on fire. Then they'll suddenly pivot to the college student doing a POV video. POV, you finally found the secret to dorm bathroom installs without the crazy itching. They target the luxury enthusiast with these super quiet, highly aesthetic ASMR scalp facials. And then they use the salon owner to give straight-up expert advice on saving thinning edges. It is the exact same 30-second formula every time, just brilliantly disguised as organic content tailored to very specific struggles.
The golden rule explicitly stated in their marketing guide is this: never sound like an ad. Sound like a friend sharing a discovery. They intentionally strip away all that boring corporate language, the dry medical jargon, and those exaggerated guarantees. By keeping the scripts conversational and confessional, they totally bypass the viewer's natural defense mechanism against advertising.
Everything they do targets specific emotional and physical triggers. Their core messaging relentlessly focuses on three main things: the intense relief of an itchy scalp, the visual satisfaction of buildup removal, and reframing braid prep as an absolute necessity rather than an option. They're selling a fresh feeling, they're selling self-care, and they're selling the confidence to wear a protective style without constant nagging discomfort. That is exactly how they convert viewers into buyers so incredibly efficiently.
So after seeing the exact science behind the buildup and the meticulous multi-stage ritual required to actually remove it, ToxiTress's strategy leaves us with one incredibly effective, provocative question to think about. Are you still putting fresh installs on an unprepped scalp? It's a brilliant challenge that summarizes their entire thesis and makes you completely rethink your whole routine before your very next salon visit. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating intersection of scalp science and digital strategy with me today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you on the next explainer.